turn Pinoy radio on. Few moments later and my favorite song comes on. I'm feeling happy, dance to the beat. Filipino music makes me feel free. The music touches my soul, makes me feel high. I'm loving life, proud to be Pinay. There's no other place that makes me feel home than tuning into PinoyRadio.com. This is the music of my life, fills me with love and so much pride. PinoyRadio.com, just log in, it's always on. PinoyRadio.com, just log on, it's always on. PinoyRadio.com.
Ang inyong linggo ng hapon at gabi ay mag-iiba. Narito ang Pinoy Radio Supercharged Weekend Schedule. Alas 12 ng tanghali hanggang 1, Property Talks with Giselle Mirasol. Alternately airing ang Sunday Talk with Randy and Tony. Alauna, Pinoy Radio Center Stage with Ryan Pepper. Alas 2, ETC. Ito tayong mga caregivers with Ate V, Vilma Pagaduan. Alas 3, Money Matters at iba pa with Danny Orbilio at Agnes Miranda. At pag alas 5, Kuya Kuis with Joey A. Paul and Friends. Alas 7, Cheers with Elaine. Alas 8 hanggang alas 8:30, OPM Waves with Teresa and Montoralba. Alas 8:30 hanggang alas 9, mga alon ng ating buhay with Kuya Nestor. At pagsapit ng alas 9 ng gabi, walang humpay na tugtugan. Airing the best of OPM. Magdamagan. Ito ang Sunday Halo-Halo Special. Dito lamang sa PinoyRadio.com. Pinoy Radio, a division of Bida Casa Broadcasting Network Incorporated.
We would like to express that the opinions, views, comments, and suggestions of the host in this program are purely their own and do not reflect those of Pinoy Radio.
Emanating from MCBN Broadcast Center, you're all Filipino radio. PinoyRadio.com. PinoyRadio.com. This year, we'll never get short of surprises. In fact, we step up the game. Hashtag Level Up Goals. The finest hits, outstanding shows, remarkable events. Bida Casa Broadcasting Network Incorporated. This is PinoyRadio.com. Love it! Markahan ang inyong mga kalendaryo every Sunday. Itama ang inyong mga orasan from 12 noon till 1 in the afternoon para sa lingguang programa sa Pinoy Radio. Sunday Talk with Randy and Tony. Sunday Talk. Makilahok sa palitan ng kuro-kuro. Randy Bukaw at Tony San Juan. Live. Sabi nga yan, if you can walk the walk, then you can talk the talk. Sama na sa palatuntunang may kabuluhan. Sunday Talk with Randy and Tony.
And good afternoon everyone. Dito sa Toronto, it's 12 in the afternoon. It's not midnight in Manila yet kasi we are 1 hour advance right now. So in Manila, it's 11 o'clock. So magandang gabi sa Pilipinas. At once again, good afternoon dito sa Toronto na medyo maulan na araw sa Toronto. Today is November 5, right? 2017. Tapos na yung Todos Los Santos sa Pilipinas, right? At least, I'm not sure kung maulan doon. Sir, kumusta kayo with Sir Tony San Juan, of course?
Mabuti naman. I'm good, Randy. Thank you very much. And good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers throughout the world. Paalala lang po, yung mga nakakalimot ng kwan, you have to reset your clock, your watches, dahil you have to fall back, ika nga. Dahil fall, yan ay autumn, fall back. At yan ang policy ng rules. At pagdating naman ng spring, spring forward.
But this is our regular time, by the way. Para sa mga taga-Pilipinas, this is our regular time. We are always 13. Sa Toronto, we are always 13 hours late than the Philippines, di ba? Hindi ahead. Late tayo ng 13 hours.
Ngayon, na yata. Dahil we have to fall back
Hindi. Ngayon, 11 o'clock lang doon ngayon.
Ganun ba?
Yes, 11 o'clock in the evening right now. So when the spring goes, it will become 12 hours.
Okay.
So it will become same time, different day.
Alright.
Sabi nga ganon.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so if you have some if you haven't checked that time yet, of course, nowadays all the phones are online. So you don't have to set your phone. I remember back then we have to manually change our phone to get the actual time. I can't remember when was that, but I did that how many years back then, right? But right now, if you have the phone, if you have the computer that's connected to the internet, both
Yes.
connected to the internet also, it will go automatically the current time where you at in North America, right? So that's changed right away. This is only North America. This is, and there is, I believe, 1 or 2 provinces in Canada doesn't change time. This is their regular time
I
right
think
now.
it's one of them, I believe, is Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
and,
they don't change. They just this kind of regular time that
and,
they have right
there's
now.
one also somewhere in the maritime
That's right.
provinces.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you have a meeting later this afternoon, so make sure your time is rewind, especially your wall clock at home, because that's not connected to the internet. So you rewind it for 1 hour so that you will not be late, right? So right now we're on time, by the way. So our system cooperate well, although the system outside, it's raining all day. I'm not sure for tomorrow, but all day right now it's raining. All right. So sir, kumusta yung undas mo? Nagpunta ba kayo sa...
Oh yeah. We have visited the graves of our relatives, especially my mom and my dad. Were buried or were interred sa Holy Cross Memorial.
That's good.
And I've sent out some email messages to my relatives, also my friends, about our departed loved ones. In remembrance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. How about our DJ Ryan Pepper? He's here this morning. How was your trick or treat?
Good.
Good.
My kids got a lot of chocolates and candies.
And
Yeah.
then how about you? Did you get some
Of
also?
course. Actually, it's for Daddy.
Ganun ba?
Of course, it's always for the parents, right?
Yeah. We need to
Because-
test it first. If it's good,
Yeah.
So
Oh, this is good. Want more?
Yung matatanda, binibigyan din ba?
Hindi, para sa
Binibigyan ng mga
matanda
anak.
yun.
Kumbaga nag-trick or treat yung mga
Dad, you want
daddy.
some? Dad, I thought
Ah.
that's for me.
Ganun
It's
na-
always like that.
Ganun na rin yata ang practice sa atin. Sa atin, nung kabataan ko, suman ang kuhan. Ang tawag doon, nangangaluluwa kami.
Hindi trick or treats yun. Ng mga luluwa.
Wala pang trick or treats.
Walang
ng
costume nung araw, ano?
araw. Wala.
Walang costume.
Wala.
Wala akong naalala sa kabataan ko. I'm not sure kay Ryan.
Kasi,
Na nagko-costume kami. I don't remember that
Wala,
at all.
tambayan lang
hindi,
talaga
kasi
sa
Western
cemetery.
tradition na yan
Yes.
Di ba? Sa atin
Pero ang
talaga.
sementeryo natin, it's November 1 evening. It's not October 31. Dito is October 31.
cemeteryo.
Yung Todos Los Santos natin, yung evening ng 1.
Oo.
Hindi yung 31. We celebrate on the 1st of
Yung
November.
midnight,
Yeah.
Yung midnight
Mas
ng
most
November.
people ay masyadong, kumbaga maaga para may iwas ng traffic, di ba?
Pero dapat
Yeah.
ang celebration ay November 2 kasi yun ang
All
All
Supposed to
Souls
be.
Day.
All
Yun ang
Souls Day.
undas.
Yan ang undas
Oo,
talaga.
pero ang November 1 kasi All Saints Day, Todos Los Santos, sabi
Yeah.
nga ni Randy.
Yeah, pero meron tayong meron tayong celebration at the same time the next morning, the next day we can rest, 'di ba? Kasi
Yeah.
pagod na pagod ka eh.
Yeah.
May trabaho kinabukasan eh. So yun ang ginagawa ng kuan natin.
Sampung Holy Cross pala yung nabanggit nyo po.
Oo.
Sampu yun.
Dito sa may Yang, sa dulo ng
dito
Yang,
ba? Akala ko
before
sa
a little
Novaliches.
bit south of
Holy Cross na Baliches. Okay.
a little bit of south of Highway 7.
Sa amin naman
On
yung
Yang.
lola ko dito sa garden ng Don Mills and Steels, and I can't remember kung anong tawag dyan.
Don
garden na
Mills
yan.
Still Rest. Parang kung yan, yung
Memorial
tawag
Garden
dito,
dyan.
Highland.
Highland
Tawag
Memorial
dyan,
Garden.
Highland Memorial.
Yeah, so nandyan naman natutulog yung lola ko pong
Highland Memorial. yan.
habang katawan niya, hindi habang buhay kasi nasa ilalim na siya. Well, anyways, if you guys have remembered, we just came into the month of November, of course, right? So, but back last month, it was October. What's the special of the month of October, if I will ask Mr. San Juan?
Well, October is starting, the season of fall or
Right.
autumn. Umpisa na yung changing of leaves into different colors, di ba?
Absolutely.
At yung October, marami yun. Sa ibang bansa, may tinatawag na October Revolution.
Okay.
Oo, kamukha sa Cuba, nagkaroon ng October Revolution.
Mhm.
Naman sa Pilipinas, ang October is not very much a prominent month.
All right. So dito naman sa North America, we all know that October is the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And then of course on October also, we try to feature the women's, we celebrate, and especially the women's, right? So Women's History Month also. It's also when the International Day of the Girl, that was the 11th of October. And it's the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women. And the perfect month for women in small business, as they say also. And it's the Women's Health Month. It's still in October. And in the IT world, they celebrate the women in cybersecurity. Right? So this is why our topic right now, it's just past October. It's about the women status in Canada. And of course, also, as we know here in Canada, we just have a new Governor General in Canada, right? Of Canada, rather. And once again, is a woman.
Yeah.
Right? So I lost my count how many women in this Governor General of Canada has been there. I know one right now, and then there was another woman, like two before her. Right, so what's her name again? John? Or something?
You have John Sauvier.
There you go.
And then you have Clarkson, Adrian Clarkson, and now we have Juliette Payette.
Juliette Payette. And Juliette Payette, basically, she is not a politician. She is a scientist. She is our woman astronaut, right?
Yes.
And luckily, she accepted this position, and she represents the. Is this we should say she represents Canada to the Queen, or the other way around?
She represents Canada, not necessarily Canada, but she represents the Queen
There you go.
of England, being the Queen. That's the head of state.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when she goes to outside the country of Canada, she represents the Queen of England, right?
That's
As
correct.
being here in Canada.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, our head of state is always Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II,
That's
right?
correct, Yeah.
And that's our queen, and that's our head of the state here
That's
in
correct.
Canada.
And the Prime Minister is only the head of government.
The head of government, and we're
Yeah.
talking the federal level government.
Yeah.
Yeah, head of state. He's a man, of course. We all know Justin Trudeau. It's also going to Manila, by the way, in few days.
That's correct.
Yes, so check him out also, and of course, Mr. President USA, Donald Trump.
Yes.
They haven't mentioned the 100% of it. We're just gonna jump to this summit gonna happen in Asia, right? Or specifically in the Philippines right now, since we have this very moment right now. So Donald Trump, and they're saying that he will be in Manila, and of course he is on his way to mostly Asia to do his trip there. It's the longest, the first president who's doing this longest trip in Asia so far is Mr. Donald Trump, right? And of course, the Prime Minister once again will be united with Mr. Trump of the U.S. President, right? And of course, the Philippine President Duterte is looking forward to meet them. And when is this summit going to happen in Philippines, sir? Have you heard about this?
Starting November 10th. And the program is up to November 15.
Mhm.
But the summit will happen, I think, on November 13 or 14, something like that.
Is this the first time, or we have hosted, or the Philippines have
It's
hosted
not actually a summit of the seven countries.
countries?
Or the,
No, it's ASEAN Summit.
It's ASEAN Summit. But I believe the President Trump will not engage himself in the summit. He will just be part of the celebration of the ASEAN Foundation.
Okay.
But he will not be attending the ASEAN Summit. That's his plan. I don't know whether there will be...
But
some-
is he gonna
some-
land in the Philippines
Yes,
himself?
he will be
there.
there. Because prior to the summit, ASEAN Summit, there will be celebration of the foundation of ASEAN, countries. I think it's about 32 years from now, or 20.
Was it last
years
year that Barack Obama was there? Was it an ASEAN summit also?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
About was it last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago, rather, yeah, because
2
that's
years
the
ago.
yeah. So in Philippines, one more time again, is specifically in Manila. So there will be road closure. There's so many road closures there. It's already traffic before
Yeah.
that or after that
Yeah.
anyway. So right now there will be no traffic because there's no traffic. They close the roads, right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you can walk into this.
There will be, of
ASEAN
course,
summits, I don't know where it is.
rerouting. We call it rerouting.
Rerouting, yes.
Some streets or roads will be closed for security purposes.
So this is the 40th anniversary of U.S.-ASEAN relations. So that's why the Canada is also, we have relation with ASEAN. That's why also the Canada Prime Minister will be there. But of course, going back to the Governor General, she is not going to be there. It's not her business to do the government part, right?
Yes.
So she is not there. So sir, if you remember, tell us more about our Governor General. What's her first name, to be exact?
Juliet, I believe.
Juliet, yeah.
Juliet Payet.
Payet. She's a French, right? Based on her last name?
Could
Is
be. It could be product of the province of Quebec or something like that. But I believe she has a PhD in science or in technology or engineering, and she was an astronaut. I mean, they say she was in space. The first, not the first, but the second woman astronaut outside of Roberta Bondar.
Oh.
Roberta Bondar is the first
Canadian woman
astronaut. Yeah,
astronaut, so-
Juliet Payet. I believe she spent time in the United States because her husband, I believe, is an American, and of course, she is well known in
that
the
field,
whole
yes.
of Canada and the whole in the whole world of science and flying or aerospace, something, being an astronaut. Yeah.
So her official title is Her Excellency the Right Honorable Joliet Payet, right? So she is our Governor General and Commander-in-Chief of Canada. This one is new to me. What's that mean? She is our Commander-in-Chief.
Yes, if there will be declaration of war, she will be the one who will declare war.
Not the Prime Minister.
Not the Prime Minister.
There you
Of
go.
course, with the recommendation of the Prime Minister. It's only, shall we say, ministerial on the part of the Governor General, but it's always upon the recommendation of the Prime Minister and the Privy Council, of course.
Right. And she was the chief astronaut for the Canadian Space Agency, right? And going back to Texas, Houston, Texas, as he was there in the NASA's Mission Control Center in Houston. Houston, they have a problem, right? Back then. But now, since he was there, I mean, she's not there anymore. Maybe they have another problem again, right? She was a good Canadian astronaut back
And
then.
I think she's one of the youngest Governor Generals appointed to the position, or she could be in her early 50s or late 40s, something like that.
Right. And of course, Her Excellency was also, she served as the Chief Operating Officer of the Montreal Science Center, rather. She's really a scientific person, in other words. She's an engineer, she's an astronaut, and then she finished she's also a faculty of McGill University Engineering Advisory Board. She's part of it. She served on the boards of the Montreal Science Center Foundation, Robotic First Quebec, Drug Free Kids Canada, and the Montreal Back Festival. And I'm not sure if we have another woman in her caliber so far yet. I think she's the only one in this kind of engineering and science as well, right?
Dr. Bondar is a scientist also.
No, I mean, what I mean, this moment, not back then. At this very moment, Dr. Bondal still in the practice, or?
Yeah, there are two who were recently declared or appointed astronauts for Canada. One is a man, and the other one is a lady, a woman.
Right, yes.
And she's also a PhD degree holder. I forgot the name of the woman.
Okay. So Ms. Payet has received many distinctions, including 27 honorary doctorates. Oh, wow. How many doctorates you have, sir, so far?
Me? No, I don't have.
You had your PhD though.
I have my PhD, but I wasn't able to complete my dissertation because I went to Canada and then first to Nigeria and then
Right.
to Canada. So I wasn't able.
Imagine this: 27 honorary doctorates and can converse in 6 languages.
To.
She is an extraordinary companion of the Order of Canada, extraordinary commander of the Order of Military Merit, and the commander of the Order of Merit for Police Forces. Head of the Canadian Heraldic Authority. What's a heraldic authority?
It's about symbols, emblems, crests, anything about. Let's say there are 10 provinces. The one who will manage which one will be approved, which one will
Okay.
be used.
And a knight of the Order National du Quebec. I don't know what that is anyways, but that is her, just few of her acknowledgement being the Governor General, right? Of course, she was appointed by the Prime Minister, right?
Yeah.
And then anointed, is that the term there, anointed by the Queen?
It could be, yeah.
Could be, yeah. Because only the Queen can make her
Yeah.
the Governor General,
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
Huh? No, appointed by the Governor General, by the
Anointed
Prime
means,
Minister.
prior to your appointment, you're being groomed.
You're groomed, yeah.
Anointed is being groomed or being, prepared for the position or for appointment to the position.
That's right, yes. And we have to tell the public that our Governor General has never been in the public office and she is not a politician, right? So one more time, just to clarify that she's not politician, she has never been in the public office. She hasn't served in any public office. However, in our 42nd Canadian Parliament, do you know, Mr. Tony San Juan, how many women or women MPs or member of parliaments do we have?
I don't have. I have maybe the percentage is about 45 to 47%,
Okay.
but that is the exact number. Yeah, the exact
Yes.
number.
There are 338 members in Canadian House of Commons, right? So based in the 2015 election. But in 2019 election, there will be more than 338 ridings. We're adding more ridings, especially here also in Greater Toronto. We have more ridings to come, right? So just check that out and it will be like that. And with that 338 members, there were 88 women elected.
So,
88.
So roughly that's about 33% or something.
Yes. So magic number is 88, so double 8. So in Chinese world, 88 is their lucky numbers, right? Not in casino. Casino is 777. That's a different story number. And then of those 88 women, 54 were elected for the first time in this 2015 election. So basically, there were only 34 which are re-electionists, right? 54 were all new. And in his first speech following the election, I'm referring now to Prime Minister Trudeau, indicated that for the first time in Canadian history, he planned to appoint a fully gender-balanced cabinet. I'm not so sure how many women in the cabinet right now. Do you know, sir? How many women are there?
If there are 30 cabinet positions,
30
I believe,
positions, yeah. 15 then.
50% of that
There you
are,
go.
are women, you know.
So that was November 4 of 2015, which
Yeah.
is, it's already 2015. So 2 years ago,
Yeah.
a cabinet was formed in Parliament, right? So 15 men and 15 women. And the longest serving woman in the 42nd Parliament is Heidi Fry, who was first elected back in 1993 election. Right, so we have lots of women's in the politics of the Canadian politics right now. We're not gonna talk about the city council or the provincial because we don't have enough time for all of those, right? So I'm gonna ask Mr. Tony here because he is a very involved in the politics world in Canada specifically, right? So, sir, why do you think it's becoming popular nowadays that women join the league in politics, or in specifically in the federal part of the government here?
This is 2017 according to Prime Minister Trudeau. This is 2017 now.
It is 2017.
This is 2017.
We're almost 2018.
Because they are now recognizing the contribution, the expertise, the experience, and the participation of women in political life. Because they can contribute. They have their own vision of what should be done for Canada, and they have also great ideas, and they have leadership skills also to present to the people or to the electorate that women can do many things, that women can accomplish things that perhaps men cannot do.
Yes, if we look at home, right? For example, a mother can carry a baby while cooking. A mother can carry a baby while doing the laundry. At the same time, cooking, also putting loads, and then make sure cooking at the same time. And there's so many things, of course, a mother can do that while they're doing Zumba. With a baby around them, right? And I don't think a father can carry a baby and doing it at the same time. Maybe we can sit down and watch TV.
If you are a house husband, then you can do
that's
it.
Another story.
If you are not working and your wife is working, then you become a house husband. Then you'll be forced to at least, take care of the children and the cooking and everything,
Yes. So, sir, let me ask you here before we go for a break. Would you know who was the first woman elected of the House of Commons of Canada?
I don't remember. It could be that Agnes Macphail would be.
There you go. Agnes Macphail. In the 1921 election, she started as a Canadian MP, right? So member of parliament there. So she was elected back in 1921, and once a member of Ontario Provincial Parliament. She was born in Grey County, Ontario. That's north of Toronto. However, when she died back in 1954, her last residence was here in Toronto City. Right, we are specifically in Vaughan right now. It's just a city above Toronto. That's where we at right now. Well, we have to go for a break, so stay tuned, mga kabayan. This is Randy at Pinoy Radio's Sunday Talk Show with our co-host Tony San Juan and our DJ Ryan Paper. Stay tuned, and we got more to go.
Tech Talk. Let's talk politics. Talk about today's issues. Usap tayo kabayan. Sunday Talk with Randy. What does it take to realize your dreams? To get you there, a vision and positive steps. The same goes to your financial future. At World Financial Group, we help middle-income families identify their dreams. It's never too early to start working towards your dreams. So I suggest you call Agnes Miranda today. Telephone number 416-702-9693. To secure your family's future, think of World Financial Group.
Kabayan, may magandang balita. Free attic insulation mula sa Canada Home Insulation. Ang Ontario Home Conservation Program ay narito para magbigay ng rebate sa mga homeowners na kailangang mag-upgrade ng kanilang attic insulation. For inquiries, tawag lang sa 1-888-228-8992. Join our program with Canada Home Insulation and see if you can qualify to receive a free attic insulation upgrade. Again, that's 1-888-228-8992. Tawag na! Mga kababayan, namimiss niyo na ba ang mga pagkain iyong kinalakan? At ang mga Pinoy street foods na iyong binabalik-balikan? Tulad ng isaw, tenga, magwheels, Adidas, Betamax, kwek-kwek at kung ano-ano pa. Sounds familiar? Huwag nang malumbay. Dahil sa Eskinita, masarap tumambay. Eskinita Foods. Tastes like home. Kaya tara na sa 180 Steeles Avenue West sa Vaughan, Ontario. May katanungan ka? Tawag na 905-886-2402. Dine-in ka man o food to go? Swak ka dito. 905-886-2402. O paano? Hintayin ka namin at ang iyong mga mahal sa buhay. Tamang gimmick lang, isama ng iyong mga kaibigan. Banyaga man o kabayan. Kita-kita tayo sa Eskinita Foods. Tastes like home.
Magandang balita, mga kababayan. Young and Steele's Pharmacy is now open to serve you. Opo, ang Butika Young at Steele's ay narito na para maglingkod sa inyo. Matatagpuan kami sa plaza, katabi ng St. Paschal Church, just across the Center Point Mall. Kami ang inyong community pharmacy. Narito, hindi lamang sa puso ng Thornhill, Ontario, kundi sa puso ng bawat Pilipino. Young and Steele's Pharmacy with patient-centered services, free medical review, free delivery of prescription, free one-on-one consultation. San ka pa? Ang butika ng bayan? Young and Steele's Pharmacy. Bukas na. Tawag na. 905-771-0188. Sasakyan ba ikaw mo? Toronto Auto Group ang puntahan mo. 2380 Lawrence Avenue East, Scarborough, Ontario. Makakaasa ka at walang duda. Sa Toronto Auto Group, everyone gets approved. 99% guarantee. When you talk of car loans, tag it. Madali ang usapan. With branches in Oshawa, Trenton, Belleville, Thunder Bay, and Sudbury. Visit their website, torontooutogroup.ca. Because when you know it's time and the moment is right, simply tag it. We are just 10 digits away. Call Maria Cruz Fernandez, 416-939-5610. Licenciado Filipino at handang maglingkod sa'yo. Toronto Auto Group, your used car superstore.
Mula Bukang Liwayway hanggang Takip Siling, PinoyRadio.com, inyong kapiling 24/7.
In entertaining the global Pinoy.
We go above and beyond.
On air everywhere. Listen in. Look at us. Now streaming live.
On the road and rising. Reaching more Filipinos abroad.
Ito ang radyo ng Pilipino.
Across the nation, around the world.
Pinoy Radio. This time, it is everything and more.
You are listening to PinoyRadio.com. I love Filipino music.
If you can walk the walk, then you can talk the talk. Sama ka sa talakayang may kabuluhan. Sunday Talk Show with Randy.
And we are back here in Toronto. You're watching and listening live from MCBN Broadcast Center. We are at the second floor of Patricia Kemp, and I can't remember what's our exact address. DJ Ryan, what's our exact address here?
7894 Dufferin Street.
Dufferin Street, right? So we're just south of 407 and then north of Center Street, right?
Just
so
ask Google for Patricia Kemp Community
Patricia
Center.
Kemp,
Vaughan.
yeah, and then you will see us, and you can meet DJ Ryan Paper, especially at from 1 o'clock. Yeah, 1 o'clock, right?
Yep.
So DJ Ryan Paper, he has his center stage, right? And today, who's your guest?
Jennifer Uy.
Jennifer,
One of our
Uy.
sopranos here in Toronto.
Yeah, it's another woman also, because we are talking about women here. So gender presentation has been a significant issue in Canadian politics. Currently, there are 8 women serving as leaders of political parties which hold legislative seats in the province of the Canada, in the provincial levels of Canada, right? So, and of course, Mr. Tony San Juan and I here, we know that our Premier, Premier Kathleen Wynne of Ontario as a Liberal, right? So Kathleen Wynne, she is our Premier, and her Deputy Premier also is another woman, Deb Matthews, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and another woman in Ontario, the leader from National Democratic Party, NDP. That's Andrea Horwath, right? So they're women's here in Ontario. They are playing
It's
major
not
roles.
National Demo. It's New Democratic Party.
New
I believe.
Democratic, rather. Okay, so that's the NDP. And of course, we have from out in BC Liberal, the official opposition is led by Christy Clark. However, also the BC Deputy Premier, which is an NDP, Carol James. Also, it's another woman there. And Yukon, NDP official oppositions led by Elizabeth Hanson. And also the Yukon Deputy Premier, a Liberal, Elaine Taylor. We have Judy Klassen of Manitoba Liberal. We have Manon Massey, Quebec Solidaire. That's the name of the party in Quebec, right? And the Premier of the Alberta, an NDP, Rachel Notley. And another one, an NDP of Saskatchewan, the opposition official opposition leader, led by Nicole Sarawar. Okay, so there are lots of women's in politics right now in Canada and across Canada, also not only the parliament but also the legislative seats in the provincial level, right? And of course, we know if you're from GTA back in 2004 when Stephen Harper runs for leadership for the Conservative Party, we had a Belinda Stronach, right? She plays a major role also in the politics world, especially for the Conservative Party in GTA. And how special is it when the government of leadership be led by a woman? And there we have lots of reason why the women can be a good leader. Of course, it's not because they're woman or women. Just happen that that's our topic right now, right? So would be different impact of the community. Probably it can be different impact, right? So if we will talk in the community, if we have a community picnic, we should say it's always the women prepares the picnic table. Right?
That's correct.
We men will do the pick up here, pick up there, and bring it to the table. And they always have those picnic table very clean and very beautiful. And that's how the women always go first of us, like thinking how to become clean and how to become organized, just like at home, right? Our mom always take care of the home, always make sure that it's organized. And then we men, we take care that make sure the TV works. Or the TFC works and the internet works also. Sir, I'm gonna ask you if you have remembered this. We're going out the politics right now in the women world.
Yes.
Here in Canada, we go back to the history of Canadian women. Right. So in the history of the Canadian women, there was a phrase here that king's daughters. Have you heard about that?
King's daughters, you mean?
King's daughters, not just a king. I mean, not just one daughter, but king's daughters. So there are more than one daughter of a king.
You're talking about Quebec in Montreal in the 1700s.
Yes.
Are you talking about that?
Absolutely.
They call them Felice de Roy.
Yeah, that's a term, right?
That's Felice de Roy. Well, I'm not sure, but history says that in order for the French government, not necessarily the France, but more on the French government in Quebec, they have imported women to be able to at least help in increasing the population of Quebec.
Right.
They call them this. These are women. Some are decent. Some are not decent.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, to use the word prostitute, shall we say?
Yeah.
But they are not all that type of prostitutes.
So this was back in 1660s. The French government sent about young women. Maybe DJ Ryan can tell us. How many do you think? Is it 100,000? How many do you think? How many young women that did the French government brought in back in 1660 to Quebec? They were called king's daughters. Just make a number.
Thousands, like 50,000?
Sure, you can do that number. There were only 850 young women.
850.
Yes, yeah. So especially the term that Mr. San Juan says here is Felice de Roy, right? So they quickly found husbands.
Roy means king.
King, yeah. So they quickly found husbands among the predominantly male settlers, because that's what they came here first, as well as the new life for themselves. So they came mostly from poor families in the Paris area, Normandy, and the center-western regions of France. A handful were ex-prostitutes. They're not prostitutes when they came here. They were ex-prostitutes, right? So, but only one is known to have practiced the trade in Canada. As farm wives with very good nutrition and high birth rates. So that was the purpose of it. They have a very good birth rates, right? So they played a major role in establishing family life and enabling rapid demographic growth. So no wonder there's so many French in Quebec. So back in 1660s, so they had about 30% more children than comparable women who remain in France.
You must remember, Randy, that the first European settlers in this part of the world, I mean to say Canada, are French.
Are French, yes.
Yeah, they are French. They came first before the English,
Yes, true.
Came.
So Canadians had an exceptional diet for their time. That's why they're so healthy. I don't. There were no French fries back then, right? It's called French fries. So this was due to the natural abundance. Even now, we have abundance of meat, fish, and pure water here in Canada or even in Toronto, right? So the good food, conversation, conditions during the winter, we have that always here anyways, and an adequate wheat supply in most years. Wheat, we have lots of wheat plantation here, right? That's across Canada or anywhere in North America, I guess. Besides household duties, some of the women participated in the fur trade also, the major source of cash in New France. They called themselves New France back then. Some widowed and took of their husbands' roles, right? So a handful were active entrepreneurs in their own right. There's a movie right now, I believe it's in the History Channel, called Frontier. And this is basically the history about this fur trading in Canada. They're about the Hudson Bay and then going back to Quebec. And there's player from New York City and of course from France as well, right? And that's not only the history for women in Canada. Outside the home, Canadian women had found domains with which they controlled. And important exemptions came with Roman Catholic nuns. These numbers are very amazing.
Yeah.
So basically, there were, I'm gonna go jump here. There were 26,000 in public. In 1941, there were 26,000 in Quebec alone who turns to become a nun. Imagine that, 26,000. That's a lot. In Quebec, back in 1917, 32 different teaching orders operated 586 boarding schools for girls. And then in 1936, this is getting closer to us, the nuns of Quebec operated 150 institutions with 30,000 beds to care for the long-term sick, the homeless, and the orphans. On a smaller scale, Canadian Catholic orders of nuns operated similar institutions in other provinces. These are not just in Quebec, of course, here in Ontario as well, right? But of course, there were a quiet revolution back in 1960, combined declaration with the dramatic reforms for the Vatican II, right? So there was a dramatic change in the role of nuns in the whole world, not just in the Quebec. So it changed a little bit. Do you know some nun in your life, sir?
Yes.
Maybe in Philippines, in your family?
Yeah, in distant relatives, yes. Yeah.
And they are, of course, not being a spiritual practitioner.
Yeah.
They are very dedicated for helping the sick, the poor,
yes,
and everyone who needs their prayer also. So if we will go back to the politics, sir, and then do you think in Quebec, they are the first one who brought these women here? Do you think we have a future to have a woman prime minister from Quebec? What's the chance there?
Yes, there could be,
if they have the woman leader.
Yeah, if they're given the right opportunity and the best opportunity in the right leadership. Right now we have national leaders like Elizabeth May of the Green Party is the leader of the,
She's up in BC, right?
Yes, and of course prior to that, after the Broadbent resigned as opposition leader of the NDP, there were two women also, Lynn MacLeod and what's the other lady, McDougall. So both NDP leaders successively you know, replacing broadband at that time,
That's
prior
right.
to the coming of Layton and the other guy. What's his name? So they were actually national leaders in the Liberal Party. I don't know of any woman leading the Liberal Party, or the Conservative Party. We have Campbell.
We had prior
The-
to Andrew Scheer. We had Ambrose, right?
Yeah. Prior to what they called it, Harper.
Harper.
Prior
also,
to
yeah.
Harper. Yeah. She became also a prime minister, but for only 6 months.
Okay.
Because they lost about in the election of Chrétien. I think they lost almost all the seats except three positions.
That's right. Well, the women's in Canada, not only at home, not only in the politics world, we also have the professionals also that's led by the women in the business world, right? So recently, the top 100 professionals by KPMG Professionals Award, the first one that they select was Nathalie Bernier. She's from Montreal, Associate Director of KPMG. And then Anne Doig from Saskatoon, a President Canadian Medical Association. Mary Lou Donnelly from Ottawa, President of Canadian Teachers Federation. Margaret Franklin, Toronto Chair of Board of Governors CFA Institute. Leslie Galloway, St. John's CEO. And then there's more of them. I don't think we have seen a Filipino name so far. We are not the women in the Filipino community here. Have you heard like a big business woman, like a CEO and then a Filipino heritage? Have you heard about that here in GTA?
No,
Not yet. So one day we will have those names also in the top 100 Canada's most powerful women in terms of their intellect and money, because that's where you put the business. You need to have a brain and to have a money. How about the most powerful women? Is that the same?
It all depends whether your influence will reach all parts of Canada, and whether you participate in politics, or whether you participate in business governance, or whatever. It all depends on where your influence lies, whether in politics, in government, in business. There are many women also, and they have broken the ceiling. We call it the ceiling.
And of course, in terms of arts and communications, in our community here, the Filipino-Canadian community in GTA, we have dozens of women that's involved in arts, right? So for example, we have GDL, and we have Karen Tan, and that's just to name a few. Of course, we have Elaine also, and there are lots of them involved in arts. And I believe Maan Junicio, was that her name? She's from Toronto. Is she from Canada?
No, she's from somewhere in the west,
West,
Alberta,
okay. Alberta.
or Saskatchewan. I'm not very sure.
Yes, so she's also a part of the what show was that? The Broadway show.
Miss Saigon.
Miss Saigon, yeah.
When Miss Saigon was initiated here about more than 20 years ago, she performed as the main star of Miss Saigon.
What's her name?
Maan Junicio.
No, I mean the Miss Saigon character. What's her name there? Can't remember her name. Kim.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And the BMO Arts and Communications, they have their top 100 women, right, who are influential. They say the first one, Wendy Freeman from CTV News Bell Media. Number 2 was Tasha Keridan, and she hosts AM 640. And number 3 is Leonard Liu, a co-host of the social reporter E-Talk. And these are the arts part of the BMO and Arts and Communication Top 100, right? They have Natalie Osborne, and I can't remember if I seen a Filipino name here as well. I won't be surprised, but
What
this is the the top 100 from the BMO Arts and
No,
Communications.
that's from BMO. But
Yeah, from BMO.
in terms of popularity, there are lots of Filipino women now in broadcast. We have Zoraida Alman.
Okay.
We have Chris Reyes.
Okay.
We have Tarok, CBC.
Yeah.
And we have also Pauline Chan, and we have the one Melissa Grillo. These are the Filipino women in broadcast in Toronto.
How about Christine Carpio? Is she part
No,
of the broadcast?
she's just beginning.
She's just beginning. Okay.
She's just beginning.
Oh, wow.
But the famous ones are Zoraida Alman. I don't know which one, CTTV or I'm not sure. We
Yes.
have Tarok of CBC. We have Pauline Chan of City, broadcast, because you have CTV and you have CT or something. Then we have Melissa Grillo. Those are the most popular people in broadcast of Filipino heritage.
That's right. We will be back. We will talk about the women's in the teaching here in GTA, I should say. Of course, our co-host, Tony San Juan, he started one of the organizer for the Philippine Teachers Association of Canada. Of course, he would know also the teachers here being mostly women teaching here in GTA are Filipino women. But there are also, of course, men like Mr. San Juan, right? Yeah. But our topic are for women. We will ask him about them also. So please stay tuned. We'll be back right after these short messages. This is Randy here, Sunday Talk Show, Pinoy Radio. Thank you.
Tech Talk. Let's talk politics. Talk about today's issues. Usap tayo kabayan. Sunday Talk with Randy. Sa iRemit, libreng tawag ka sa Pilipinas tuwing magpapadala ka ng pera via iRemit from any of our 8 branches across Canada. Visit Batters Toronto branch and enjoy free coffee or tea and other refreshments and experience the comfort of their service while sending money to the Philippines. Mga kababayan, namimiss niyo na ba ang mga pagkaing iyong kinalakan at ang mga Pinoy street foods na iyong binabalik-balikan? Sounds familiar? Huwag nang malumbay dahil sa Eskinita, masarap tumambay. Eskinita Foods tastes like home. Ito pa, pinagsama-samang ulam sa mahabang hapagkainan. Budol fight ito kabayan. Samahan mo pa ng sa malamig o yung sagot gulaman. Ano, gutom ka na? At para di mo makalimutan ang lasa, sa Eskinita Foods na pumunta. Makuha ka sa tikim. Madala ka sa tingin. Meron pang all-day breakfast, silog meals, di na kailangan pang antay ng agahan. Dahil kahit anong oras, pwedeng matikman. Eskinita Foods, 180 Steeles Avenue West, sa Vaughan, Ontario. Tinatamad magluto? Kainan lang sa bahay? Tawag na 905-886-2402. Daan na sa amin para iyong kunin ang in-order na pagkain. Action Honda is back with another startling car deal for 2017. All for Civic, all for you. Here we go. Civic LX Coupe, Sedan, Hutch. All up to 60 months, all at 0 down payment. Get the treatment you truly deserve. Action Honda's Car Spa, Service, Parts, Assistance. Basta Action Honda, makakaasa ka. 4334 Kingston Road at Lawrence Avenue East, Scarborough. Don't pay for 90 days? Sounds interesting. Call now. Asikason kabayan sa Action Honda team na maaasahan. Action Honda, where car ownership is made easy. If you can walk the walk, then you can talk the talk. Sama ka sa talakayang may kabuluhan. Sunday Talk Show with Randy.
At tayo po'y nagbabalik dito sa Pinoy Radio Sunday Talk Show. So if you have time on Sundays, we started at 12 noon for Sunday Talk Show, and then 1 to 2 is DJ Ryan Paper. And who's next from 2 to 3, DJ?
ETC, ito tayong caregiver ni Miss Vilma Pagaduan.
And then after that, Money Matters with Agnes Miranda. And after Agnes Miranda?
After Agnes Miranda, break time ko.
Break time mo.
Then Kuya Kois, then
Kuya Kois.
Cheers with Elaine.
There you
Anong
go.
oras si Kuan, yung Money Matters? Si Danny Orbillo, di ba?
Yeah, si Danny at saka si Tita Agnes.
Tita
Yeah.
Agnes.
Pero ang main Kuan doon, si Danny Orbillo or something.
Yes, si Danny Orbillo.
Yeah, sitting
Yeah.
doon. Tapos andyan na yung guest natin, si
Sino yun?
Miss Oy.
Okay.
That's right. So, Sir Tony, going back to the women's here in Canada, we're just gonna go to the GTA right now. And you started you're one of the organizers in the Philippine Teachers Associations in Canada,
Yes.
right? And among you who organized that, there were other people around you also. Who were they? Who helped you?
Rose Cruz.
Rose Cruz, yeah.
Was one of the founders, and
Yeah.
also Leonie Manzanares also, together with Rose Pilado and Bridget Kuhin and myself. Too.
And it sounds like you were outnumbered, 3 women.
Yeah, because
And only yourself as a man.
Mostly the teaching profession is
By women.
Mostly held, or shall we say, by women.
Majority, I think it's worldwide. In Philippines, of course, we mostly know that all teachers are women, and then a principal is a man, right?
Yeah.
Or majority is always women.
Especially elementary school teachers, they are women. But in the high school, it's more of a 50-50 allocation, shall we say.
That's right, yeah. Here in GTA, sir, specifically the members of the Philippine Teachers Associations of Canada, these were all teachers back in the Philippines who wants
Yes.
to teach here back in their practice, or
Yes.
if they're teaching here already, they can also join in the Philippine Teachers
that's
Associations
correct,
of Canada, right?
Yeah.
And we have a website there. What's our website there to check it?
I think it's WWPTA Canada.
PTA Canada. Yeah, if you want to know about it, it's just there, ptacanada.com.
Yes.
.com, right? So you can check that out. Sir, being a teacher, a woman here, dito sa GTA ng TDSB or TCDSB or French Immersion or the French, the fourth one is only the French, right?
Yeah,
There's French Immersion and the French Public.
Yeah, we have the not the French Immersion. We have the French Catholic Board.
French
and
Catholic Board.
Then we have the French Public Board.
French Public Board.
There are actually 4 school boards in the GTA as well as in Ontario. We have the Catholic District School Board, and we have the Toronto District. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have also what we call the French Public Board and the French Catholic Board.
That's right.
So there are 4 school boards in Ontario.
In applying a school, assuming you are qualified, does it make a difference if you're a man or a woman, specifically if you are in the elementary teaching? Is there advantage being a woman or a man?
No, not necessarily. It all depends on your qualifications that the principal or the school needs or the school board needs. If your qualification is more right now, more on technology, more on French, and more on mathematics and science, then you will have some sort of advantage compared to others whose teaching qualifications are not much needed in the school system.
That's right. In the school where my girls goes, right? So this is in the TCDSB. I have not seen a man teacher who teach the JK and SK. I think it's predominantly by the woman teacher
Yes,
for
because
this
of
level.
what we call the mother touch.
The mother touch.
If the woman is teaching lower grades or in the K level, at least they understand how young children behaves and how young people thinks.
And it seems like they have more patience than the men.
That's correct.
For the small little ones, right? Because
Yes.
they are they're not really there to learn that much. They are there to spend time with their new friends, right? As they say.
I have met also male teachers who are in the kindergarten grades. I have met also many of them, but not very much in terms of number. It's
Majority
not,
are women.
Yeah, majority are women.
So
mostly men are in the junior high school as well as in the senior high school.
how about the early childhood? I have not met any male in the early childhood so far. It's like we have early childhood in Ontario.
Yes, early childhood means this is from junior K.
Yeah.
And then senior K, and then a bit of kindergarten.
Yeah, no, what I meant also is the one, the outside the school program.
Yes.
The one who's running these early childhood programs.
Oh, you mean the nursery?
The nurseries,
nursery, or yeah. There are very few men engaged in this. Mostly women. About 95% are women.
To have that business or to become in that nursery program, do you need to become a teacher, or has to be a man or
no, not
a woman?
necessarily. In the nursery program, any high school graduate can operate or can supervise a nursery program. It all depends. If it is Montessori, then you might have qualification in the Montessori system.
That's a big business anyways.
And the JK and senior K, not necessarily that you will have a teacher qualification, but more on ECE qualification, early childhood education qualification, either ECE assistant or full-fledged ECE, because the ECE now is a degree program.
It's a degree. That means at least 3 years.
5 years.
No, at least 3 to 4 years, or
4
5
years
the more.
now. 4
Yeah,
years.
4 years.
But the ECE in the if you start from kindergarten only, then there are two teachers there. The regular teacher, who is a certified teacher, and you have the ECE. The ECE is only engaged on more activities, play activities.
That's right, yeah.
But the mental activities are assigned to the regular teacher.
The filled up teacher
they
itself.
divide their tasks and responsibilities.
Oh, wow.
Share,
well, that's good to
share,
know.
Yeah.
Well, mga kabayan, I hope everyone learned a little bit somewhat here in our discussion today, the women's in Canada, right? So we ran out of time. It's around 1 o'clock. Our clock here have been changed yet, but we still have few minutes, right? Right, DJ Ryan? We're almost gone. Yeah. So we're out of time. We have a couple minutes here. So if you haven't heard, of course, also if you wish to be a part of the political world, and if you're Filipino here in the GTA, you can talk to us, either me, Tony, myself here also. It's like we can help you to be there. Like we try to be part of these political campaigns in any. We're not talking any party, right? But we're trying to help everyone who wants to be involved in the political arena, specifically here in GTA. It doesn't matter you're dreaming to become a trustee, or to become a councilor, or to wanna be an MPP or MP, but you can join us. We can have a coffee and everything like that, and who knows, you can be the next woman premier of Ontario, right?
Correct.
Or it can be the next mayor of Toronto woman, because I can't remember when was the Mayor Barbara Hall here. I can't remember what year was that.
That's about 12 years ago.
Yeah, Barbara Hall was the last woman mayor of Toronto, right? And after that, all males, right? So you can be like that, but you need to start soon. We have election coming up, 2 elections next year, and then 1 election in 2019. Well, nonetheless, it's your choice anyway. So just do the reading. And of course, you need to be friendly to the community, right? And if you are not into politics, we have the cultural here, arts, cultural also in our community here. There's so many broad, like if you haven't know the women cultures here in GTA, just be yourself and then check the Facebook, and we have lots of concerts also. So we'll be back next Sunday, same time, 12 noon here in Toronto, and that's 11 evening in Manila, right? So stay tuned for DJ Ryan Paper Center Stage, right? That's DJ? Yes. So magpapaalam na po kami ni Mr. Tony San Juan.
Okay, goodbye for now, and I hope you have gained something from our short discussion, and thank you for listening and watching.
Yes, and we'll be back again next Sunday. This is Randy Bucao of Sunday Talk Show here on PinoyRadio.com.
Inyong natungayan ang isa na namang edisyon ng palatuntunang Sunday Talk with Randy. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, kasama ang kanyang mga panauhin at ang mga isyong tatalakayin.